At first, I had no plans on doing any zombie map reviews before Cold War's life cycle was over. I thought it would be best to revisit the maps with a fresh pair of eyes once the Dark Aether Zombies season came to its final conclusions. But Treyarch has had other plans, and they went ahead and implemented a brand new mode that flipped the community on its head. And if you're unaware of this update, well then you have a pleasant surprise waiting for you inside your console. Since Modern Warfare 2019 changed to the Battle Pass drip-feeding content system, the community has been very pleased. And in all honesty, Treyarch is doing a much better job with this formula due to the fact they have more modes and are able to diversify content across the entirety of the game rather than just for multiplayer and or Battle Royale. If you have seen my previous reviews on COD Zombies, specifically Black Ops 3, I always talk about how Zombies at its core is an experimental mode which allows Treyarch to break ground in other ways, which inherently limits other COD developers in ways that are all likelihood stunting the franchise. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Outbreak has a lot of potential, and this both frightens and excites me for the future of Zombies. Treyarch is a studio that has captured lightning in a bottle more than once, and all signs are pointing to Outbreak being a runaway success in the eyes of the community at large. Although there is a lot to praise about this mode, it's not without its problems. Outbreak's infancy shows just how scarce the mode really is, yet how magnificent it can become. So what exactly is Outbreak? Is it actually fun, or is it just another boring side mode like Gauntlets, Jingle Hells, and other half-baked ideas from Treyarch? Well, make sure you stick around to see what this brand new open world Zombies mode is all about. So what is Outbreak? Well, Outbreak is a hybrid mode with a faux open world design combined with both slower and faster pacing than the standard Zombies mode. All the same elements that make the Zombies mode stand out, pack-a-punch, wonder weapons, mystery box, perks, they're all here, but instead of working your way towards these features through door purchases or mantling, it's now all instantly accessible. Rounds are no longer timed or capped by zombie amount, but to counter that, points per zombie has been slashed to less than half. Guns are still available to purchase on the wall, and their rarity increases in value as you progress. But ultimately, it doesn't matter because there are so many ways to get a weapon that it's pointless. In fact, I don't think I've purchased a wall weapon once. I don't actually have any freaking idea. Since this game came out, have you purchased a wall weapon? Boss zombies are immediately spawned in on round 1, so prepare to get your buns in a pinch right out the gate. And yeah, this is no longer a single map experience. Outbreak has essentially shattered that concept by spreading gameplay across 3 maps. It's definitely impressive. So what's the point of Outbreak then? If it isn't the same as traditional zombies, but also carries elements of said zombie DNA, then where do we stand as a game mode? Landing into a hot zone with all your perks active, your wonder weapons fully packed, and the elements from all the various boss zombies cluttering your screen gives a level of insanity that I have not felt in a long time. Cold War Zombies has been particularly easy and has even confirmed to be less difficult by Treyarch themselves. There's an article on screen to confirm. But Outbreak itself can be quite difficult. As an experienced Zombies player, which sounds completely stupid when you say it out loud, I haven't felt the intense anxiety driving force that Zombies usually fills inside of me in a long time. And when I was attempting to exfil on round 10 after a long and grueling Outbreak match, my heart was racing, not gonna lie. And it clicked in my head that this is a step forward for the Zombies genre. Now this is where the idea of an open world really becomes clear. Once you begin your game, you will load into one of 3 locations. This could be Alpine, the snowy map, Ruka, the foresty map, or Golova, the new city map that actually hasn't made its way to multiplayer yet. It's going to be soon. It could be up there by the time this video's out, but you know what I'm talking about. And just like in regular Cold War Zombies, you choose your loadout and you're really on your way. The focus in this mode, however, is to complete the main objective, and it could be one of 5 variants. A defense holdout, where you get transported into the dark ether and have to defend a small house for a few minutes, an escort mission where you transport a monkey in a cage to the dark ether essentially, a defense mission where you defend a head that is transmitting some sort of data to your home base, a mission where you pick up a canister and then have to bring it back to a rocket. This one's actually pretty fun, but it's been glitchy. Actually, now that I think about it, Treyarch said they fixed it, so maybe scratch that? But it was glitchy at launch, definitely. Or finally, some sort of elite boss fight where you have to kill a boss by damaging him enough 3 separate times as he teleports around the map. Now, alongside of those 5 main objectives, there are some side quests, which could be one of 3 different variants. The first one could be feeding a dragon with killing enemies, just like in Horizon Drac or the Hellhounds from Mob of the Dead. The second type of quest could be opening up a golden loot crate, which drops down from the dark ether, and it just basically is a holdout kind of mission where you just kill a bunch of zombies and bosses until the chest opens. Or you have to kill a tougher mini boss by activating a radio, and a boss enemy and some mini enemies will spawn down from the sky and you have to kick their ass. These all provide you with some sort of reward, like a full power, some salvage, and a flashbang. Nothing amazing. When you do get into the later rounds, you actually will get higher rewards, but it doesn't really matter at that point because you're already set up. In fact, on the lower rounds, sometimes I haven't even received a reward. I don't know if it was a glitch or what, but it's happened a couple times. It does seem like after a couple weeks of this game mode being out, Treyarch has kind of buffed the rewards. Like I'll get a perk sometimes. I'll find tougher enemies spawning in, which will lead me to getting a shotgun or a high tier legendary or rare weapon. But nothing too exclusive comes from these chests in my experience. But those are all the side quests, and I do have to say they're pretty enjoyable. It's really the main objectives that are important, and there is one per location. And once you complete that main objective, an anomaly will spawn at a distance, letting you know, hey, you're done with this map and it's time to move on. And once you approach it and interact with it, a sort of safe zone will spawn. Yeah, zombies can get in there, but it's kind of like a safe zone for you to get equipped and get the hell out of there. So go ahead, take your time, get all the perks and weapon upgrades you need because you're about to go on to the next round and to the next map where things get even more interesting than they were currently.
Attention all angry gamers, before you roast me in the comment section below, I do not think I can do any better at developing games, but I just want to talk about the issues anyway.
All right, now that that PSA is over with, Treyarch have a tough road ahead of them, and I wish them nothing but the best. However, that does not mean we can't provide constructive criticism in hopes that the mode can thrive. While the gameplay loop is streamlined and definitely easy to jump into, that doesn't mean that Outbreak is without its problems. As you may have noticed in the last section, there is a level of repetition that keeps Outbreak in a cycle that is tough to break out. God damn. I mean, what are you really supposed to do with a zombies mode? There are only so many tasks you can implement before things either become impossible due to hordes of AI, or things feel monotonous for the player because the overall intention behind each objective is similar at the core. The biggest issue that I run into during an Outbreak game is the overall meta of weaponry versus an enemy type, and it's something that has actually bothered me immensely in Cold War overall, and in zombies in general. In order to survive as long as you can, you always need to use a shotgun and a wonder weapon, which is fine, but then you end up using the exact same weapons in every match. When you combine this with the same 5 main objectives, the 3 side objectives that are always the same as well, and you're going for high rounds, well, you end up doing the same exact things for way too long. And this leads to boredom and makes loading into a new game feel tedious rather than exciting. But this problem is not new to zombies at all, or really Call of Duty. There are always going to be weapons we naturally gravitate towards, but in Cold War it feels more salacious than ever before. There is also the issue of wonder weapons in Outbreak. Normally in a zombies map there is a quest in order to create or build a wonder weapon, and this process has become a staple to the mode, and it's always something fans love to rave about. I mean, just look at how many guides there are to build all these different wonder weapons. I mean, there's even guides to build wonder weapons that don't even exist. You look back at Shadows of Evil, and what is awesome in Outbreak is that you get to use all of the wonder weapons from the previous maps, which is really exciting because we've never done that before. That's not how zombies works. But Alex, what's the problem? You can't complain about this, can you? Well, unfortunately, I can, because acquiring the wonder weapons is not thrilling in Outbreak at all. Not in the slightest. There are no quests, no pieces to build, just nothing. Just good old-fashioned RNG, which is fine in some instances, but in Outbreak, it feels like a drag. You could get wonder weapons from the mystery box by killing an elite enemy, opening a rare crate, or completing challenges, which is by far the most boring. Oh my god, 5-minute challenges. And all this is fine and good, I guess, but I never get the weapons. I don't know if I just have bad luck or I suck at the game. However, you need to get wonder weapons because if you want to succeed in Outbreak, you need a ray gun. And if you're not prepared for the scaling of difficulty, which ramps up quickly, you're in for a bad time. Round 5 in Outbreak is near, if not equivalent to round 30 in a normal zombies mode, and it's not for the faint of heart. And to be honest, I really enjoy this difficulty increase. It makes the game hard, which most of the time Cold War Zombies is not hard at all. And that being said, when I'm running around using a double pack-a-punch SMG on round 5, going after 75 mini bosses, it's essentially a bullet sponge bath. And this is why the meta weapons are very necessary, as well as the wonder weapons, because the balance from rounds 4 to 5, it's so drastic. The difficulty scales up so quickly that if you do not use the best weapons that the game has to offer, you're going to be drowning in enemies quickly, since it's an open world style mode and they just keep coming after you. And getting perks and pack-a-punch and armor during this process while you're getting spammed with enemies, it becomes a chore and you get desperate and you want any handout you can get, except for the handout you really need, which is a fucking wonder weapon. Now, while I don't really care to get into narrative most of the time, I think it's kind of important to address why this mode just exists. It's not the standard, "Oi, well, there's zombies, so we gotta go get 'em, mate." The story is actually pretty simple, and of course there is a complex narrative behind it. It's frickin' Treyarch, I mean, that's their thing. That's not really my specialty. If you care about depth and storyline, then I suggest finding a zombies channel that caters to that sort of thing.
Hi guys, Mr. Waffles here.
Anyway, I digress. Now that we have 2 normal zombies maps in Cold War and a storyline where we exfil from locations, as well as a main military hub, we can assume that our characters have brought with them certain items from D Machina and Firebase C, i.e. the wonder weapons. This is why we see the ray gun, the ray rifle, and the Dia shockwave all inside of Outbreak. And the reason there are zombies everywhere is there are rifts opening up all around the world, which our team, led by Weaver, we are Requiem, are trying to close, which is what we've been doing so far in D Machina and Firebase Z to an extent. But now there are rifts opening up all over the world, which is causing zombies to spill in, which is why we're seeing them in our fire team maps, Ruka, Alpine, and Golavo. Golova? Jesus, I never remember that name, which allows all of our known enemy types. They're all stationed in Outbreak due to these rifts opening. And while it's not the most original storyline ever, it's simple, it makes sense, and it allows Treyarch to merge zombies, multiplayer campaign, and Warzone in a way that we have never seen before. And although the narrative is getting confusing, I still think it's the right way to go in order to appease a general audience. There are some problems with this method though, because it seems that the hardcore fanbase is paying a price due to Activision merging Infinity Ward and Treyarch's games into one storyline. The games used to be segregated in such a way that allowed you to have a favorite type of game. A type of developer would create a game that would cater to a certain fan base, and that's no longer Activision's MO. They want everything to be a unified experience under the umbrella that is Call of Duty. And I think this hurts the hardcore fan, but appeases the general audience in such a way to create a monetization scheme that allows fans to just mindlessly play Call of Duty and not think about it too hard. Now that Outbreak has released, looking back on all of Treyarch's design choices for Cold War Zombies makes so much more sense. The whole reason behind an upgrading tier system for perks, weapons, and your character, it's really meant for this, but it can be simultaneously utilized in the standard Zombies mode. It's actually quite impressive from a design standpoint and helps future-proof the Cold War Zombies ideology. My feelings on Outbreak are overall positive, and I think the mode is a great start to a new era of zombies. Gunplay is tight and the zombies work well on these multiplayer maps, which is amazing because according to Codename Pizza and other zombies YouTubers, there are going to be dedicated zombies maps for Outbreak, as well as a brand new Easter egg / main quest launching at the beginning of Season 3. Having a main quest inside of this multi-map mode is going going to be interesting, and I would bet it would be more similar to a raid in Destiny as opposed to a main Easter egg like we are used to in the traditional zombies mode. I think it's important that Treyarch implement new game modes inside of this mode. Themed events and potential PvPvE modes could provide a fresh and competitive spirit to zombies that's been missing for a long time, and the community has been pleading forever to get an old-time favorite mode, Grief. Maybe something new in Outbreak could satisfy that itch. Outbreak is a literal sandbox game where you have the best of multiplayer, battle royale, and zombies. Don't know how they did it, but this mode satisfies everybody, from the hardcore streamers to the casual boomer gamer. The only thing stopping this mode from getting better is Treyarch themselves, and it's my belief that as the Cold War cycle ends around 2022, we're going to see Outbreak and Zombies fully flushed out and maybe even be a #1 priority for Activision and Treyarch going forward. But obviously things are too fresh to be able to dictate or predict what Treyarch has up their sleeves. I believe that once we have a new map integrated into Outbreak, whether that be Sanatorium or something entirely new, we will be able to gain even more insight into what Treyarch has planned for the long game. Cold War has a strange course of development where instead of focusing solely on 6v6, zombies, and campaign, we're getting what I like to call appetizer modes, a little taste of everything. That being said, I believe if Outbreak is truly successful and pumped with more content updates, we could see a true zombie-like competitor to Warzone and revitalization to our community in ways that we have never seen before. Well then, I guess here's to being optimistic. Cheers, boys and girls. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your time. I know you don't have to sit here and watch that. If you could, really would appreciate you leaving a subscription or a like and the notification bell, all that stuff. You know how YouTube works. It really does help me with the algorithm and all of that jazz. And that's really all I got to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Have a good one.